Hey, so this is Mary Ellen, and I'm just getting set up to do a painting for Natalie. She asked for something beautiful and colorful, and she had some ideas. So I ran with them and we talked about them, and now we're going to go on the next take. And my husband will be videoing as I put things together. So I'm sitting here at my desk. I have water for activating my watercolors. And so I know that I'm going to use a little cute Q gold because it gives some luminosity to things. I've already activated Hooker's green light and this phthalo green because I want a really bright green stem. I'm going to need some brown, so probably some of this, I think that's raw sienna, and we'll get some burnt sienna and sepia for darkness. And I always like a little indigo just in case. And then I'm going to spend some time mixing my colors. So I activated the lemon yellow because it's a nice bright yellow. We'll activate this orange. We will activate permanent red because it's a good solid red. I'm going to mix my green. We need a turquoise type. This is turquoise right here. And we need a good purple. So dioxazine purple is always, you see there's a hole in the ones that are my favorites. And that should take us through most of the painting. So they're activated, and I'm going to mix up little puddles of them. So here's...
Good.
I was hoping to do that in one take, and we are not. So there. So now I want to have my colors ready to go. And that palette doesn't look like it's ready to go anywhere. So we're going to excuse it and just pull something clean over here. All right, so we need some yellow. And I want it to be very thick because I want it to... I don't want it to be a wash. I don't want it to be translucent. I want the colors to almost be opaque. So there's the yellow. And see, I have a napkin for dabbing my brush on. The red is nice and activated, so we'll get that over here. So, see, and that's nice and thick. It's like you push your... It could be thicker. Let's get some more. You can always come back to it. That's the beauty of watercolor. You can always come back and reactivate it. All right, so there's our red. Let's see how the orange is looking. Yeah, good. This is for all the little wisps on the dandelion. There's our orange. I'm going to need that for the Q gold. All right, so there's the orange. And get the orange out of there. That should be turquoise. Yeah, that's good. That's turquoise. All right, so we have our turquoise ready. And we need a little indigo. And that's, oh, we need the purple. So just gonna grab purple and tuck it over here because I only need a bit. All right, so there's the puffs. I ran out of space to mix browns, so yeah, that looks like what I used for the base of the dandelion. And then Here's some dark brown, because if you look at the dandelion, you can see the little seeds are not black, but a dark brown. So we'll do the dark brown, and I'll grab some sepia just to really... And I think we are ready. No, I didn't make my green. All right. So I want that green for the stem and for the puffs to be really bright. And this is called phthalo yellow green. Yes, phthalo yellow green. And it looks neon and like, oh, do I really want that in my palette? And yeah, you do. It works as a beautiful highlight when painting trees outside, and it just kind of melts into any backgrounds you're doing. I'm going to grab some more of that because I just really want to break. There we go. Okay, so this is a two-sided water cup that also has a lid that seals it so I can take it where I want to go. So I'm going to lay down just a little Q gold under where I want the stem. So just right here. And like it's broken off, so just tapered like that. And that'll dry. I want that to dry. But in the meantime, I can paint the top part that holds the puffs and let it bleed down. See how it just bleeds down into the yellow there? Which is kind of nice, and we'll just tap a little into there, and it just, because this is still wet, it will give us some depth. The sun's coming this way. Now I want that to dry a bit because I don't necessarily want the dark brown to bleed into it, but I can make the seeds while I'm waiting. So, I want that to be just a little waterier because I want them to have that look of watercolor. So if something has too much color, you can always just dry your brush off and go back and lift it, and that's beautiful. That's what I want. I want that shaded look that only watercolor really just gives of its own accord. Put a couple like right there and right there, right there. We're just gonna let them dry. Maybe we'll darken that just a bit. Do you see how I let it dry some and I went back in and just tapped a little bit more color onto it? And that gives it depth. So now all those little seeds are drying. And I made the stems of the puffs out of turquoise. And I want to go to a very fine, I was painting with a size 4 round pointed brush. And now I'm going to switch to a size 0 with a nice sharp point. The silver black velvet. This has been the finest point that I found. And I roll it gently on my napkin and also like on the palette, just to make sure that I have the sharpest point I can get. And when you want really fine lines, you want to be very vertical. So this is the edge of it, so I'm gonna make another seed right there. That's Smidgen. She's not happy with her brother. And so we'll just bring that down to the seed. I can always go back and darken these. So see how I'm very vertical, and it gives me control. I'm guiding with my pinky on the paper. And now I'm going to start switching directions because that's how things look in 3D. Make that a little longer. I want some extra room for those puffs. So some are further out, some are closer in. And they don't all have to tilt the same way. And some can even cross, like that. So we'll go back and we'll rinse, grab just a little brown for one more seed. Darken it. And I think we could get that even a little darker, so I'm going to grab some sepia all on its own and just, if your brush is too wet, you can tap it against the side of it against your paper towel and get the excess wet off. And again, just control. So here I am. I've got one layer down, and I'm just putting like a little shadow on the seeds here and there, just to make them darker and stand out a little more. And I still have that beautiful look of watercolor that's just doing its thing. There. So that's, oh, we can lay the lines in here. So I just laid just ever so lightly lines to indicate, if you really look at the bottom of a dandelion, you'll see that it's separated into a bunch of little sections. One good way to work on flowers is to have one in front of you. Pick it, bring it to your table where you paint. And that will, let's see, let's get some dark here and bring it down. And I want to go back to the bigger brush to do the stem now. So we've got a dried layer of quinacridone gold, and I am going to lightly tap on and wash that bright green that I made. And as long as you are gentle with your brush, you don't disturb what's gone on underneath. Just lay it there and let it dry. You can overlap a little bit. There. That's going to dry and be amazing. Hopefully. We'll see. Okay, so now we want to go paint the puffs. And you'll also notice I lay my brushes horizontal because that keeps the water from getting into the metal part, the ferrule of the brush, and loosening that and having the brush dry ahead of time. You want to keep this as dry as possible. You don't want to stick all the way down. Go, no further than this and wiggle or bump against the side to loosen pigment from your brush. Okay, so now we are going to make the wisps. So what I'm going to do is work on one side, go to the other side, and come back. So as one is dry, I can go make the other. Give ourselves one more. There. So there's the red, and I'm just knocking that off, and then we're going to go over and do the purple on this side. Darken some of those first ones we did. I don't know, maybe one more. I like purple. Hope this isn't boring. I just thought maybe this might answer, I'll bring that one around, some questions. All right, knock the purple off. Going to orange. And see, these have had a chance to dry and thicken up, which is nice. And they're just ready so that there. And the indigo over here. Let's see, we've got one here. And one here. We have two more colors we can. There. Three colors. All right. All right, now we go back to the yellow. green. And then back to turquoise. And that's it. And then now is double check time. So it looks like we could have a little bit more darkness here. I'm not liking a little black. Yeah, that's better, see? And the color, once you lay it down, it's always going to be a little lighter once it dries. So I've layered color on top of color. I could come back in now with a metallic paint and just put it here and there. But I don't think we're doing that for this project. Now, would I like some of this brown coming down into the stem? Sure, because there's this. If the sun's coming this way, there's a little shadow. So we'll just do that. And a little green. So it just blends. It doesn't, there's no hard lines. Oh, and let's make a little wisp like it's flying away. So we'll just put one right there. Give it a little stem. And we're almost done. Let's grab the purple because it's all the way over there, and then we'll bring it back into this part of the painting. So if you look at a dandelion, it's mostly got that, but last I checked, there were no watercolor police, so make it your own. What's that? There you go. We'll see if Natalie likes it. Have a great day.